The lobby of the Bennett Grand Hotel was alive with morning chaos. Business travelers checking out, families heading to breakfast, staff in crisp uniforms moving efficiently through marble hallways. Everything gleamed: polished floors, crystal chandeliers, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. It was the flagship property of the Bennett Hospitality Group, a $12 billion empire, 200 hotels worldwide, luxury, excellence, perfection. And sitting alone at a corner table in the breakfast area, surrounded by an untouched buffet, was the woman who'd built it all, Charlotte Bennett, 44 years old, CEO, billionaire. She wore white, a designer power suit that probably cost more than most people earned in a month, diamond earrings, a watch that could fund a college education, hair styled perfectly, makeup flawless. She looked like success, like control, like someone who had everything. Except she was completely alone. Her table was set for one, coffee growing cold, a newspaper she wasn't reading, an iPad showing emails she wasn't answering, a buffet plate she'd filled and abandoned. She'd built an empire creating spaces for families to gather, hotels where people celebrated anniversaries, held reunions, made memories. But Charlotte had no family, no husband, divorced 5 years, no children. She'd chosen not to have them, chosen career instead. And now, at 44, sitting in her own hotel surrounded by families laughing and children playing, she felt the weight of that choice. She was profoundly, devastatingly lonely. But Charlotte Bennett didn't show loneliness. She'd built walls, glass walls, so polished, so transparent that people looked right through them and never saw her heart breaking on the other side. Across the lobby, near the concierge desk, James Miller adjusted his yellow name tag and tried to smile at a guest asking about restaurant reservations. "Absolutely, sir. I can make that reservation for you. 7 p.m.? Perfect. You'll love it." He was 36, tall, tired, wearing the white shirt and black vest of hotel staff. He'd worked here 3 years. Good employee, reliable, quiet. Nobody knew he'd once been something very different. Beside the concierge desk, sitting on the floor with coloring books spread around her, was his 6-year-old daughter, Emma Miller, wearing a pink dress, dark hair and pigtails, quiet child, observant. She had her mother's eyes, soft brown, impossibly kind. Her mother, who died 8 months ago, Anna. Cancer, fast, brutal. She'd been gone before Emma really understood what was happening, before James could save her, before anything made sense. Emma still asked about her sometimes. "When is Mommy coming back from heaven?" As if heaven were a trip, a vacation, something temporary. James didn't know how to answer, didn't know how to be both father and mother, didn't know how to fill the emptiness his daughter felt. His babysitter had called in sick that morning. School was on break. He'd had no choice but to bring Emma to work. She was being good, coloring quietly, not bothering anyone. But she looked sad. She always looked a little sad now. Emma looked up from her coloring, scanned the busy lobby, watched families, watched a mother braiding her daughter's hair at a nearby table, watched a father lifting his son to see out the window. Her eyes landed on the woman in white, sitting alone at the big table, surrounded by food she wasn't eating, looking at nothing. Emma tilted her head, curious. That lady looks sad too, like Emma, like Daddy. Maybe lonely people should sit together. That's what Mommy used to say. Emma stood, picked up her coloring book, started walking toward the table. James was helping another guest, didn't notice, didn't see his daughter crossing the lobby alone. Emma reached the table, stood beside it, small, uncertain. The woman hadn't looked up yet. "Excuse me." Charlotte heard the small voice, looked down. A child, maybe 6, pink dress, holding a coloring book, standing beside her table. "Yes?" "Can I sit with you today?" Charlotte blinked, confused. "I'm sorry, what?" "Can I sit with you? You look lonely, like me. Mommy used to say lonely people should sit together so we don't have to be lonely alone. The words hit Charlotte like a physical blow. Lonely. This child, this stranger, had seen through the glass walls in seconds, had identified the things Charlotte spent millions trying to hide. You want to sit with me? Emma nodded. If that's okay, you have a big table and you're all by yourself. That seems sad. Charlotte's throat tightened. She should say no, should send the child back to her parents, should maintain boundaries, professional distance. But she couldn't. Okay, Charlotte heard herself say. You can sit. Subscribe to Becca's stories so these stories keep finding you. Emma climbed into the chair across from Charlotte, set her coloring book on the white tablecloth, pulled out a crayon. I'm Emma. What's your name? Charlotte. Charlotte Bennett. That's pretty. Emma started coloring, then looked up, direct, honest. Do you have kids? The question shouldn't have hurt, but it did. No, I don't. I chose not to. Emma tilted her head. That's sad. Kids are nice. I would share mine with you, but I don't have any either, just me and Daddy. Charlotte felt something crack in her chest. This child, this small, honest child, verbalizing what Charlotte had never admitted aloud, that choosing career over children was sad, that she regretted it, that success wasn't enough. Where is your daddy? Charlotte asked quietly. Emma pointed to the concierge desk. Over there. He works here. I'm Emma Miller. My daddy is James Miller. He helps people. Charlotte's eyes widened slightly. James Miller, one of her employees. A good one, she thought. She'd seen his name on performance reviews. Never met him, never needed to. I see. And why aren't you sitting with him? He's working, and I got bored, and you looked lonely. Emma leaned closer, studied Charlotte's face. You're very pretty, and you smell nice. Charlotte managed a small smile. Thank you. Emma moved even closer, curious, innocent. She sniffed slightly. You smell like my mommy smelled before she got sick, vanilla and flowers. Charlotte froze. The perfume, Chanel, expensive. She wore it as armor, as power, a scent that said she was important, untouchable, successful. And this child smelled her dead mother in it. Your mommy. Charlotte's voice cracked. Emma nodded, matter of fact, the way children speak about devastating things. She's in heaven now. She had cancer, and it made her really sick, and then she went to be with the angels. But before she got sick, she smelled like you, like vanilla and flowers. She smelled safe. Charlotte's hand trembled. She set down her coffee cup before she dropped it. This child, this small, heartbreaking child, had just connected Charlotte's expensive perfume to maternal love, to safety, to a mother she'd lost. Charlotte reached out, touched Emma's hair gently. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Emma shrugged, small shoulders. It's okay. Daddy says Mommy watches from heaven and that she'd want me to be brave and to help other people who are sad, like you. Like me, Charlotte repeated, barely a whisper. Footsteps approached, fast, worried. Emma, you can't just... James reached the table, saw his daughter, saw the woman in white, registered who she was. His face went pale. Oh, God, Miss Bennett, I'm so sorry. Emma, you can't bother... She's not bothering me, Charlotte interrupted. Her voice was firm, clear. She asked if she could sit with me. I said yes. James looked stunned. I didn't realize you were... I'm sorry, I didn't know you were staying at the property. If I'd known, you would have, what, kept your daughter away from me? Why? Because you're the CEO. You own this hotel, the whole chain. I didn't want your daughter to notice I was eating breakfast alone, Charlotte finished. She's very perceptive. She saw something most adults pretend not to see. Emma looked between them. "Daddy, can Charlotte have breakfast with us? She doesn't have anybody. We should share." James opened his mouth, closed it, looked at Charlotte, uncertain. Charlotte gestured to the empty chairs. "Please, if you have time, I would like the company." James hesitated, then slowly sat down. "My shift doesn't start for another 20 minutes, but Emma, we can't stay long. Miss Bennet is busy." "Charlotte," she corrected. "Please call me Charlotte. And I'm not busy. I cleared my morning." A lie. She had 17 meetings scheduled, but suddenly none of them mattered. Emma grinned, reached into a small backpack James was carrying, pulled out an apple and a cheap yogurt container. Her breakfast. She looked at Charlotte's untouched buffet, plates of pastries, fruit, eggs, bacon, everything. Then Emma opened her yogurt, took one spoonful, and held the container out to Charlotte. "Here, you should eat. Daddy says when you're sad, you need to eat to be strong. You can have half." Charlotte stared. This child, this small, heartbreaking child, offering half her meager breakfast to a billionaire surrounded by an untouched buffet. The generosity broke something in Charlotte, something she'd kept locked for years. She took the yogurt container, took the spoon Emma offered, ate a small bite. "Thank you, Emma. This is the best breakfast I've had in years." And she meant it. They sat together, an unlikely trio, CEO, concierge, 6-year-old. Emma colored, explained her pictures. "This is Mommy in heaven with the angels. She has wings now. Daddy says she can fly." Charlotte listened, really listened, not performing, not networking, just present. James watched, confused, wary. His boss, the woman who ran a $12 billion empire, was sitting on the floor now. Charlotte had kicked off her expensive heels and sat cross-legged beside Emma, helping her color. "Why did you sit with my daughter?" James asked quietly. Charlotte looked up. "Because she asked, and because she was right. I was lonely. I am lonely. I've spent 20 years building hotels where families gather, and I have no family. I chose career over everything else, and now I have everything except what matters." "What matters?" James asked. Charlotte looked at Emma, coloring peacefully. "This, someone who needs me, not my money, not my connections, just me." Emma looked up. "Charlotte, why don't you have kids? Did you want them?" The question was so direct, so honest, so devastating. Charlotte took a breath. "I thought I didn't. I was so focused on success, on building my company. I thought children would slow me down, hold me back, so I chose not to have them. And my husband, my ex-husband, he wanted them. So we divorced, and I kept building, kept working." "And now?" James asked gently. "And now I'm 44, and I realize I built an empire for nobody. I have money, I have power, I have hotels all over the world, but I have no one to share it with, no one who calls me just because, no one who needs me to make them feel safe." She looked at Emma. "Your daughter saw that in 5 seconds. She looked at me and saw loneliness, while everyone else just sees success." Emma moved closer, climbed into Charlotte's lap. Unexpected, trusting. "It's okay to be sad," Emma said seriously. "Daddy's sad too, all the time. He tries to hide it, but I know. He misses Mommy, and he tries to be Mommy for me, but he can't because he's just Daddy, and I need a Mommy, but I don't have one." James's eyes filled with tears. "Emma, it's true, Daddy. You're really good at being Daddy, but you can't braid my hair, and you don't know the princess songs, and sometimes I want to talk about girl things and you don't know what to say, and that's okay, because you're doing your best, but I still miss Mommy." The honesty gutted Charlotte. This child, verbalizing loss so clearly, so simply. "I'm sorry, Emma," Charlotte whispered. "I'm sorry you lost your mommy, and I'm sorry your daddy has to do everything alone." "Are you sorry you don't have kids?" Emma asked, looking up with those impossibly kind brown eyes. "Yes," Charlotte admitted. "Very sorry." Emma thought for a moment, then, "Charlotte, can you be my mommy for today?" The lobby noise faded. Charlotte's heart stopped. "What?" "Just for today. Pretend. Daddy has to work, and I'm lonely, and you're lonely, and mommies make lonely go away. Can you try? Just for today?" Charlotte looked at James. Permission. Tears in her eyes. James looked overwhelmed. "You don't have to. She doesn't understand what she's asking." "I want to," Charlotte said, voice breaking. "If Emma wants me to, I would be honored." Emma grinned, bright, genuine. "Okay, what do mommies do, Daddy?" James smiled sadly. "They play and listen and hug and make you feel safe." Charlotte looked at Emma. "I can do that. Show me." Charlotte Bennett canceled 17 meetings that day. Her assistant called, frantic. "Charlotte, you have the board presentation in an hour. Reschedule it." "But this is the quarterly." "Reschedule everything. I'm unavailable today." She spent the day with Emma, all of it. They toured the hotel. Emma showed Charlotte things she'd never seen in her own property. The service corridors where staff moved invisibly. The laundry room where sheets were folded. The kitchen where chefs prepared meals. They went to the rooftop garden. Charlotte hadn't been there in years. Emma picked flowers, made a crown, placed it on Charlotte's head. "Now you're a queen," Emma announced. "I thought I already was," Charlotte said, amused. "No, queens wear crowns. CEOs wear stress." Charlotte laughed, really laughed, for the first time in months. They had lunch, not in the restaurant, in the employee break room. Emma insisted, said it was more fun. They sat with housekeepers and maintenance staff, people Charlotte had never spoken to, people who kept her empire running. They were kind to Emma, asked about her coloring, shared their own children's artwork, included her, made her feel seen. Charlotte watched and learned about community, about belonging, about the empire she'd built without ever understanding what held it together. After lunch, Emma wanted to play pretend tea party. They set it up in Charlotte's suite, used real china, served actual tea. Emma poured carefully, seriously. "Mommies teach you how to be fancy. Did your mommy teach you?" "She did," Charlotte said quietly, "a long time ago." "Was she nice?" "She was. She wanted me to be successful, to be independent, to not need anyone." "And you did it," Emma said. "You're very successful." "I am." "But you're lonely." "Yes." Emma nodded, set down her teacup. "Mommy used to say success is only good if you have someone to share it with. She said being alone at the top is just being alone." Charlotte's vision blurred. "Your mommy was very wise." "I know. I miss her." Charlotte pulled Emma close, hugged her tight. "I know you do, sweetheart. I know." By evening, Emma was exhausted, happy. She fell asleep on Charlotte's suite's couch, curled up with her coloring book, peaceful. Charlotte sat watching her, this small person who'd walked into her life asking a simple question and changed everything. James arrived after his shift ended, quiet, uncertain. "Thank you," he said, "for today. You gave her something I can't." "What's that?" "A mother, even just for a day. I've been trying to be everything, father and mother, cook and counselor, provider and comforter, and I'm failing. Every day, I'm failing her." Charlotte stood, firm. "You're not failing, you're grieving. There's a difference." "Is there?" James looked broken. I can't braid her hair, can't sing the song she wants, can't talk about the things she needs. I'm trying so hard, and it's not enough. You're enough, Charlotte said, but you're also human. You need help. We all do. James was quiet. Then, can I tell you something I've never told anyone? Please. I was an oncology nurse, pediatric cancer ward for 10 years. I specialized in helping families through the hardest moments of their lives, holding hands, explaining treatments, being present when patients died. Charlotte listened, still, focused. When Anna, my wife, was diagnosed, I thought I could save her. I knew the protocols, the doctors, the treatments, everything. I worked extra shifts to pay for the best care, the experimental drugs, everything. His voice broke. She died while I was at work, caring for other families. I spent 10 years holding strangers' hands while they left this world. I knew exactly what stage of pain she was in, what was coming next, the morphine dosage, the breathing patterns, everything. He looked at Charlotte, devastated. And I couldn't do anything. I know too much. Every time I look at Emma, I see the cancer cells I couldn't stop, the treatment plans that failed, the moment I wasn't there. What do you do now? Charlotte asked gently. I carry luggage. I book reservations. I smile at guests. Because luggage is light. Reservations don't die. I can't fail at pointing someone toward a restaurant. Charlotte understood. You quit medicine. I quit everything that mattered because I couldn't face it, couldn't face knowing and failing. So now I do this, safe, meaningless, nothing that requires me to save anyone. Except Emma. Except Emma, and I'm failing at that too. Charlotte shook her head. You're not. You're here. You're present. You're trying. That's not failure. That's love. James looked at his daughter, sleeping peacefully. She asked you to be her mother today, and you said yes. Why? Because I have money. I have power. I have everything except someone who needs me. Not what I can provide, just me. Emma offered me that, and I've spent the best day of my life playing pretend. She looked at James. Your knowledge haunts you, but it's also your gift. You understand suffering. You understand care. You understand what families need in their darkest moments. That's not worthless. That's extraordinary. It didn't save Anna. No, but it could save others if you let it. 3 days later, Charlotte was in her office when James appeared at her door. Miss Bennett, I need to speak with you. She looked up. Charlotte, please, what's wrong? There was an incident yesterday. A guest in the lobby. He collapsed. Heart attack. Charlotte stood, alarmed. Is he okay? He's fine. The paramedics arrived. He's at the hospital now. Stable. Then what's wrong? James hesitated. I was the one who kept him alive until they got there. I did CPR, kept him breathing, talked him through the panic, used everything I learned as a nurse. Charlotte stared. You saved his life. I reacted. Instinct. Training. I didn't think, just acted. And afterward, I realized I can still do this. I haven't lost it. The knowledge, the skill, it's still there. Of course it is, Charlotte said gently. Trauma doesn't erase competence. It just makes you afraid to use it. James nodded. His wife thanked me. She said I gave her more time with him, more years, more memories. And I realized that's what I couldn't give Anna, but I can give it to others, if I'm brave enough to try. Charlotte smiled. You're already brave. You just needed a reminder. She stood, walked to her desk, pulled out a folder. I've been thinking about this hotel, this company. We provide luxury, comfort, escape, but we don't provide care, not real care. Medical emergencies happen, guests get sick, families face crises, and we just call 911 and hope for the best. She looked at James. What if we changed that? What if every Bennett property had a director of guest wellness and compassion, someone trained in medical care, crisis management, family support, someone who could bridge hospitality and healthcare? James blinked. What are you suggesting? I'm offering you a job, a real one, not concierge, director. You'd design the program, train staff, create protocols, use your knowledge, your gift, help families in crisis the way you helped that guest yesterday. I don't know if I can. You already did, yesterday. You saved a life, without hesitation. That's who you are, James. Not a concierge, a healer, a caretaker, someone who sees suffering and responds. James sat down, overwhelmed. Why would you do this for me? Because your daughter asked me to be her mother for a day, and in doing so, she gave me something I'd lost: purpose, connection, meaning. This is me returning the favor to both of you. 6 months later, the Bennett Hospitality Group launched the Anna Miller Memorial Wellness Program. Every hotel, every property, worldwide, staff trained in crisis response, medical protocols, family support, partnerships with local hospitals, free resources for guests facing health emergencies. And at the center of it all, James Miller, Director of Guest Wellness and Compassion. He'd returned to nursing, part-time consulting with pediatric oncology wards, using his knowledge, his expertise, his gift, healing through service, honoring Anna's memory, helping families he couldn't help before. The program saved lives, literally. Guests who collapsed, children who got sick, families who needed support during medical crises while traveling. And Charlotte had never felt more proud of her company, her empire. It finally had purpose beyond profit. Emma visited Charlotte every week, sometimes at the hotel, sometimes at Charlotte's penthouse. They had tea parties, went to museums, read books, braided each other's hair. Charlotte learned to braid finally, after 44 years. Emma taught her. Christmas Eve, 1 year after Emma had walked up to a lonely table and asked to sit down, Charlotte organized something unprecedented: a Christmas dinner. In the hotel lobby, not for VIPs, not for celebrities, for staff, the employees who worked holidays, who sacrificed time with their families so guests could have perfect celebrations. Housekeepers, concierges, cooks, maintenance workers, security guards, and their families. The lobby was transformed. Tables, decorations, a massive tree. Real food, not a buffet, a feast. Charlotte sat at the center table, not at the head, just part of the group. Beside her, James and Emma. Emma wore a red velvet dress, her Christmas best. She'd insisted Charlotte wear red too, matching. During dinner, Emma stood on her chair, tapped her glass. "Excuse me, I have something to say." The room quieted, smiled. This small girl, so serious. "I want to say thank you to Charlotte, because last year she was lonely, and I asked if I could sit with her, and she said yes. And now we're family, not because we have to be, because we want to be." Emma looked at Charlotte. "And I want to do something for you, because you've been learning to be a mommy, and you're really good at it, but there's one thing you can't do yet." Charlotte smiled. "What's that?" "Braid hair really well, so I'm going to teach you, right now in front of everyone." Laughter rippled through the room. Charlotte knelt. Emma stood behind her, carefully, seriously, braided Charlotte's hair. Slowly, teaching. See? You start here, then cross over, then add more hair. It's easy once you practice." Charlotte sat still, tears running down her face. This child, braiding her hair in front of 200 people, teaching her something maternal, something simple, something profound. When Emma finished, she tied it with a red ribbon. "There, now you look like a mommy." Charlotte turned, hugged her. "Thank you, sweetheart. This is the best Christmas gift I've ever received." After dinner, Charlotte stood, addressed the room. "I want to announce something. Starting today, every Bennett hotel worldwide will have a family suite, free, for military families, for cancer patients and their loved ones traveling for treatment, for anyone in crisis who needs a place to rest, to feel safe, to feel cared for." She looked at James, at Emma. "These suites are named in honor of Anna Miller, a woman I never met, but whose daughter taught me that success means nothing if you have no one to share it with. Anna's legacy will be that no family facing hardship will be turned away from our doors, ever." The room erupted in applause. Charlotte sat down, shaking, emotional. James reached over, took her hand. "Anna would have loved you." "I wish I could have met her." "You have," James said, looked at Emma. "She's right there, in everything Emma does, everything she says. Anna lives through her, and now through this, through you, through what you're building." Emma climbed into Charlotte's lap, snuggled close. "Are you still lonely, Charlotte?" Charlotte held her tight. "No, sweetheart, not anymore. You saved me." "You saved me too," Emma whispered. "You're my mommy friend. Is that okay?" "It's perfect. It's the most honored I've ever been." Around them, the party continued. Families, laughter, connection, community. Charlotte had spent her life building walls of glass, so polished, so transparent, hoping people would see her success and miss her loneliness. But Emma hadn't seen the glass. She'd seen straight through to the heart, to the woman sitting alone at a table, surrounded by everything and connected to nothing. And in asking one simple question, "Can I sit with you?" Emma had shattered the walls completely. Now Charlotte sat surrounded by chosen family, by purpose, by love. Not because she had saved Emma, but because Emma had saved her. A little girl had spoken up in a crowded place, and a billionaire CEO had finally looked down. And in looking down, she'd found what she'd been missing all along. Not success, not wealth, not power. Just someone to share it with, someone who needed her, not for what she could provide, but for who she was. And that was worth more than $12 billion, worth more than 200 hotels, worth more than every achievement she'd ever earned. It was worth everything. Sometimes the greatest success is measured not in what you build, but in who you build it for. Sometimes the most important question isn't about business plans or profit margins, it's, "Can I sit with you?" And sometimes the people who save us are the ones we never expected. The small ones, the honest ones, the ones brave enough to see through glass walls and ask if we're lonely too. I'm the new voice narrator for Becca Stories. If you enjoyed this new narration style, please let us know in the comments so we can continue finding the best voice to bring these stories to you. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country below. Hearing from you inspires every story we create. And subscribe so we keep sharing moments like these together.